Hello, hello. Hi, Leo. This is Terra Lumination with your mini report about the Jupiter in Scorpio big transit happening over 2017 and to the end of 2018. Okay, it's kind of a big deal, kind of life changing for all of us. So we've got a special little playlist just to get us rolling. Okay, that's you, Leo. Okay, so big themes and keywords here. This is for the energy of Scorpio itself, okay? The sign of Scorpio. And this is the energy of the planet Jupiter, the energy that it radiates. If you think of this as fuel, and you're pumping this fuel through the nozzle of Scorpio. And then you can interpret that however you want to do that. I'm just giving you the raw ingredients. Now, we're going to do your tarot in a minute, and I'm going to show you a little chart in a second. But I was going to ask is if you could, in order to get the best out of this, watch for your sun, moon, and rising, but also stop, play, pause, rewind as necessary in order to extract the maximum value here. In other words, if you're making notes or something and you just need to see this part again, stop it here where you can see everything, okay? Now, where is this all happening for you? Okay, Leo, for you, it's in your fourth house of home and family, safety, security, foundations of life, your physical home, where you sleep, where you conduct your life from after you've gone out in the world and done whatever you have to do. And that's where you come home. Where do you roost? Where do you lay your roots and so on? So there's going to be massive transformation that's happening in that part of your life. And hopefully this is all for the good. Jupiter ultimately is the great benefic. So no matter how disruptive things might be because of the scorpionic theme here, all about, what they call creative destruction and how that could play out, it's ultimately all for your higher good. Okay, Leo? So if you think of this, like, there's no way out of it. It's going to involve emotional intensity, and it's going to touch on like the deepest, darkest places of yourself. It's going to affect you in the terms of like joint resources, what your home and foundation and life feels for you and translates for you in terms of joint resources. And going deeper still, it turns into a deep soul healing experience all the way down to transformational soul healing over here. So it's all good. It's just a question of rolling with the energy and making the best of it so it doesn't overwhelm you or you get tripped up or anything like that. So take a look at these again if you have to, when you have to. Let's go ahead and look at your tarot. We'll get right into it. It's kind of like we do on the live show. We're just going to do a few little cards, give them some core themes, and then we're going to try and tell the story as it comes out. Cards are already well shuffled in advance, so don't worry, but we're going to shuffle to the last second so that you're a witness. No jumpers, no flyers, no oracles, no reversals. Stripped down, bare bone tarot. Okay? All right, so let's have a good look here. All right? Also, Leo, if you want to, you could watch an astrology channel or something like that to learn and understand a lot more about the fourth house, for example. What is it really all about, okay? If you really want to get in depth, because that's where all the action's going to be. And there's probably other channels out there with tons of stuff on the Jupiter and Scorpio thing. So help yourself, make the most of it. I just finished shuffling, but sorry, I interrupted things. We're going to now cut. Cutting for you. All right, Leo, here we go. All right, that's good. Here's your situation. Here's your opportunity. Here's your challenge, because there's always a challenge, even with Jupiter. And here's how you can handle it in order to make the best of it, okay? We're going to look at this card in a second. This is going to indicate prevailing conditions that have to be navigated as you move through this. It's out there. It's around you. It doesn't have to own you. You don't have to let yourself be owned by this. you have the Three of Cups. So it's a lovely, lovely theme here. It's a chance for you to, let's just say, share your benevolence, share your bounty with others as you go through this. It actually might be a really pleasant, enjoyable experience for you, whether you like it or not, or know it or not, whether it's being planned or not. But it might allow you to say, you know what? However this works out, it's going to be good for you, Scorpio, Leo, anyway, enough to the point where it's like you really want to do celebrate with friends and family at home as the changes and manifestations occur. Okay, so let's have a look. What's the situation? Okay, being the boss of the bosses. Okay, your situation is that you might be rising up into your own, let's say, dignity, self-respect, power, in the home environment in ways that have never happened before, where you're starting to really love and be appreciated at home, like embraced at home in ways that have never happened before, expansive ways that might almost throw you off balance. Like, whoa, why didn't anybody tell me? Why didn't this ever happen before? Maybe you're going to discover deeper intimacy. Maybe you're going to go deeper and darker into the world of merger, soul merger, joint resources, and deep soul healing. You might go through a period of where everything seems to fall apart, but it reconfigures in a new way that's actually really, really good for you, but you could not have possibly planned or anticipated, such that in the final stages, it's really all about transformational healing. So your situation right now is, let's just say, very fortunate. That's how I'm feeling it here for you, Leo, in that you're going to have a chance to shine here, not in ways that would be like, let's say, arrogant or self-serving, but more to do with very honorable and dignified and inspiring to others, where like being a true leader in the home and family situation where others look up to you and you're more than happy to live by example in a way that's joyful, loving. Okay, now of course what I'm going to ask you to do is translate everything that I just talked about and put it through here and through here. This is the fuel that's moving through you as you live the situation, and this is the lens through which the fuel is moving so that you can live out this situation and rise into your true dignity, which may be a very different position from where you are now, in ways that you could not possibly have imagined, because there's going to be a lot of deep transformational experience that's going to happen here in some form, way, or another. So what's the opportunity? Okay, love, true love. This is beautiful for you, Leo. I'm really, really happy for you. And how would this work out? Basically, love in the home. Maybe you find true love at home in ways that you've never known before, in ways that are actually like so simple and true, but it just took this long to find out. And now this is the chance. You've got a real chance for this to happen. Maybe own your own home, buy your own home with your dearest, most loving sweetheart, something like that. Maybe become, I mean, there's so many ways you could reinterpret that, but it's all about dignity, mastery, sovereignty of self in the home in a way that is absolutely most appropriate and most true in the most loving way possible. However that would translate. This is the beautiful Two of Cups here. But it could involve deep transformational experiences that occur with you, inside of you, in the context of a very loving relationship. But it could evolve in such a ways that you could not possibly anticipate because of the process of, let's call it creative destruction that can occur through scorpionic type energy fields. Okay? Basically, huge amounts of transformation. Okay, so this is great, and it's something to be celebrated and shared. What is the challenge here? Okay, let's say, well, what are you going to do with it? Let's just say with the Queen of Pentacles as a challenge is like, Okay, let's pretend like you're a Scorpio. You're going through this, let's say, serious growth phase at home, uh, where you could expand, travel, move, change locations, come to higher awarenesses of what happens in the home environment, especially when it comes to love in the purest sense, perhaps with a very significant other. But the challenge is that, like with the Queen of Pentacles here, is whether like anyone else gets it or understands it, or whether you actually get it or understand it, whether you are going to actually be able to lock it down in such a way that's tangible and that actually works. Uh, Obviously, the potential is very strong, very good, and likely for this to happen. But with the profound energy of transformation that tends to occur while Jupiter goes through Scorpio, it could be that, like, the good fortune here that exists here in the Queen of Pentacles might be in a very different form than could have ever anticipated. And that's where the challenge could be. In other words, this is all very beautiful in its own right, except that it might just be very different than anything you could have predicted or expected or wanted. But it's still ultimately for your highest good and for the highest good of others in your home and your environment and for yourself. Very much about dominion, okay? So, you know, that's kind of beautiful. This reading's going very, very quickly. I don't know why. Let's not waste any time here. So if this is going to be a very, let's say, deeply transformational period for you in home, where there could be potentially a lot of disruption, it's still, let's just say, very good, healthy disruption. All right. And so the question is, how would you handle it? How do you make the best of it? Okay. By understanding with the Four of Cups that you may have missed the point all along, and you're now finally getting it, and that's really, really good. Now, it doesn't matter if it's too little, too late. That's kind of irrelevant here. What's really, really important here is to understand that if, let's say, you go through these massive transformational experiences in the home environment with dearly beloved loved ones, where you are rising into your own, let's say, strength and dignity like never before, but it's just happening in a way that is so completely alien or unpredictable than what you could have imagined. The way to handle it is understand that maybe it just took you this to get to this point to realize how incredibly fortunate you are, and that if you've been like tolerating living in the doldrums for so long, or just putting up with things just to get along, and that turned into a sense of like long-term dissatisfaction, and you're now realizing what it could be to be very deeply satisfied, then it's the whole point of this card is to have that awareness. But the awareness here would be to realize that none of this is going to make sense. None of the beautiful aspects of the cards here are going to make any sense unless you perceive it as the ultimate expression of the most loving way that things could possibly turn out and manifest for you for the long run, because of the way the transformational forces are going to play out and the deep soul healing could play out in how all of this transformation plays out in the house, in the home, in the family, literally right at the foundations of your life. Deep, profound, big transformations. And it could be a very beautiful wake-up call to you where you realize, wow, there's more to love than I thought there was. Everything that I've known so far has been stuff that I've taken for granted, and it was just kind of like there, and that's just like, that's beautiful, that's wow. But if there's a whole higher, bigger thing starting to evolve and grow, it's going to require that you deliberately like take an attitude adjustment where you become aware of the higher frequencies going on here. Like pretend that's a little Ace of Cups, where all this beautiful energy here of the home, where even if it is let's say, disruptive or disturbing, it's still beautiful and loaded with love, but it has to be recognized and honored and respected as that, as opposed to, wait a minute, what am I losing here? After all this time, after all these years, after all this investment. No, it's a beautiful thing. It's a really beautiful thing, but it's just a question of perceiving it from a new perspective, a new attitude that is much more loving and on a much, let's say, higher vibration, higher frequency scale, much more noble, much more dignified than whatever you might have been used to before. So I hope that kind of makes sense. And I'm sure it'll work out for you, Leo. And maybe you can write in and tell us what's happening for you over the long term, all right? So let's put this on the side so you can have a glimpse at that. What I'm going to do now is pull this aside so you can have a look at the whole screen for a moment. Stop it, pause it here if you have to. Tick, tock, tick, tock, tick, tock, tick, tock. And I'm going to put this back here for you. Lay the weather card here so that you can see it, the opportunity here in the background. And this is where it's all happening. Okay, we talked about that, the house and the home. All right. Well done, Leo. Have a fantastic journey over this next year. You can handle it no matter how weird it gets, okay? No matter how transformational it gets, all right? You can handle it. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, Leo. Bye.